On TV, online and on your mobile. Top stories at 2.
Donald J. Trump is calling for a total and complete shutdown of Muslims entering the United States.
Trav, a puppy for Paris to replace the hero dog Diesel, who died in the aftermath of the attacks. That to come, but first, Donald Trump has rejected criticism of his comments that Muslims should be banned from the United States because the country is at war with extremists. His critics included fellow Republican presidential candidate and David Cameron. Prime Minister described Mr. Trump's remarks as divisive, unhelpful and quite simply wrong. Let's remind ourselves of the comments he made last night.
Donald J. Trump is calling for a total and complete shutdown of Muslims entering the United States until our country's representatives can figure out what the hell is going on.
Joining us now, a Muslim in the United Kingdom or indeed around the world, whether they are of a different nationality or indeed American, should not be allowed into the United States of America.
Yes, I mean, he'll have to explain himself what the policy is. It obviously throws up all sorts of slightly odd and bizarre consequences. Obviously there are people with Arabic names who don't identify themselves necessarily as religiously Muslim. Do they count? Do people who are American who have gone on holiday, do they count? It doesn't have the hallmarks of a thought-through policy, and it seems contrary to many of the values America espouses in its own country and around the world too. And so it was interesting, though, to hear David Cameron's spokeswoman, the Downing Street spokeswoman, come out and criticise and in some way involve themselves in a US election. It never normally happens, but it never normally happens that you get a leading candidate of one of the big two American parties coming out with a policy like this. So for Downing Street to say that the PM completely disagrees with the comments, divisive, unhelpful and quite simply wrong, is quite something. And I'd focus on the word here, unhelpful. It was just yesterday that the Prime Minister was praising the words of the gentleman that videoed that, the guy that stabbed somebody at Leytonstone tube station, saying, "You ain't no Muslim, bruv." The Prime Minister said that encapsulated something he'd been trying to say in speeches for years, which is this is not a generalised war between the West and Muslims. He wants to make sure that this is seen, if you like, the West's action helps those forces within the Muslim world to conquer the divisive terrorist organisations like ISIL, that he now calls Daesh. He wants those forces to be strengthened and things like this. I mean, imagine if you're in Raqqa, if you're one of these people, Mr. Trump's statements are exactly the sort of thing you'd want them to say. That is why the Prime Minister has said that it's unhelpful, divisive and quite simply wrong. He believes that even in the actions that were voted through Parliament last week, he has recognised, or his view is that there's no Western-only solution to this. You have to engage and you have to enlist, if you like, parts of the Muslim world to win this battle fully. That's the lesson he's learned from 2003, and what Donald Trump has said runs totally contrary to that.
Well, we've got you just hearing that no lowering of the voting age for the EU ref, Faisal.
Yes, so we're involved